All right, let's see. Thank you so much, Karen Parente. It's been wonderful listening to you. Right now, it's time for Audrey Whitehead here, and she's reading Living A Course in Miracles by Dr. John Mundy. So, Audrey, this mic is all yours.
Well, thank you so much, Lynn, and it's great to be here again for another week. Another reading. We left off on page 6, the top of page 6. There was a quote. I'm going to reread that quote. Belief that there is another way of perceiving is the loftiest idea of which ego thinking is capable. That is because it contains a hint of recognition that the ego is not the stuff. Capital F. So today we're going to read how the story of the course came to be. The course began in 1965. I wasn't even born yet. With Dr. Helen Schuckman and Dr. William Thetford, professors of medical psychology at Columbia University's College of Physicians and Surgeons in New York. Frustrated by the competitiveness, and infighting that characterized their relationship, one day Bill turned to his assistant Helen and said, "There has to be another way." Meaning, there has to be some way that they could get along without all the backstabbing, fighting, and ego games that trouble many offices, hospitals, schools, businesses, churches, and families throughout the world. Unexpectedly, Helen turned back to Bill and said, "You're right, and I'll help you find him." With this sudden willingness to drop defensiveness, a common ground for healing was born. Through Helen and Bill's unified decision to heal, the seeds for the course found fertile soil and took root. On October 21st, 1965, while recording her thoughts in a notebook, Helen heard, "This is the Course in Miracles. Imagine you are a poet and you begin to hear a poem, or imagine that you are a composer and you begin to hear the notes of a song." It was not automatic writing. Nothing took control of Helen's hand and began writing for her. It was as though an inner voice was speaking to her. She could stop taking this dictation at any point, answer the phone, or take care of her other business, and then return to the writing as though there had been no interruption. Oh, wow. Could you imagine that? Well, let's just stop. Could you imagine? I don't know if it's the same thing as being in, maybe sort of being in the flow that I would call it, when personally I would be working on something, perhaps a story for school or something creative, usually something that has to do with the creative writing or drawing or something artistic. And I would just be taken away. Like, I don't remember being the one writing or drawing it. And I wonder if it's kind of like that, but maybe to a higher degree. But Helen had, I'm not saying that Audrey's little things of drawing and whatnot are the same as Helen and her writing of A Course in Miracles. You know what I'm saying, but I am just trying to see if if I can imagine what that would be like. And to me, that would be the closest that I could imagine. Although when I would be interrupted, I wouldn't be get right into it like this. So anyway. Helen had the remarkable ability to simply get out of her own way and let love, what we now call a Course in Miracles, flow through. And Helen took notes for 7 years and completed the course in September 1972. And that was when I was born. So got to be born, and then the course. Yippee! September 1972, a 669-page text explains the teachings of the course. And there's a workbook for the students, which consists of 365 daily lessons or exercises, and a 92-page manual for teachers. And Helen also received 2 pamphlets from the same source of the course, The Song of Prayer and Psychotherapy, Purpose, Process, and Practice. All told, we're looking at just about 500,000 words. The course was published on June 22nd, 1976. More than 2 million copies have been sold, and it's now available in 18 different languages. Several additional translations are in process. Spanish is the next best-selling edition after English. One of the unique qualities of the course is the workbook with its 365 daily lessons designed to help us break up habituated, ego-oriented ways of seeing the world. There is only one rule in the whole course, and that is not to do more than 1 lesson per day. So you may want to spend more than 1 day on some of the lessons. What is called for is not speed. In 1973, at a conference sponsored by Spiritual Frontier Fellowship, Helen and Bill attended a lecture I gave on mysticism, and the I being John. We remember John Moody. Am I saying it's Monday, right? I think I said it wrong the other day. Last week.
Yes, Monday.
Yeah, I said Monday. I apologize. It is Monday. And I know that because it rhymed with Sunday, which I thought was really clever of his John, Dr. John, when he has his Sundays with Monday. So how I got it wrong, do not know, but I do apologize. And I also do have to preface with saying this body is not feeling well. So I apologize if there's some errors in the words, or just even a little bit of stuttering or things like that. Sometimes that comes, and we'll get through it. All right, so one of the unique qualities of the course is the 365 daily lessons. And John had attended a lecture. He was in 1973, he was at a conference sponsored by the Spiritual Frontier Fellowship. Helen and Bill attended a lecture John gave on mysticism based on a book he had written, Learning to Die. That evening, John was introduced to the 2 of them. All he was told at the time was that Helen had written an inspirational book. in 1974 while working on a dissertation on the relationship between psychology and spirituality. John wrote a letter that was published in the newsletter of the Association for Transpersonal Psychology, expressing interest in being in contact with anyone working in the field of psychotherapy and spirituality. Wow. I wonder how many people reached out for that. I don't know, but was psychotherapy and spirituality, was that a usual combination in 1974? Maybe we were just starting to, on the precipice of amalgamating those two, but I think that's amazing that they sent out a bolo, right, for psychotherapy and spirituality. And Bill saw John's letter. He remembered our previous meeting, and I'm going to go back to the proper pronouns to change them. I'll just read it as it is. And when I say I, we know it's not I, it's the author, which is all of us anyway. Oh boy, working in the field of psychotherapy and spirituality. Bill saw my letter, remembered our previous meeting, and suggested to Helen that it was a call for her to complete the writing of what is now simply called the psychotherapy camp, which she had begun earlier but never completed. Helen agreed, called me in April 1975 and said that she had something for me. I had no idea what she was talking about, but I agreed to meet with her and Bill, Father Benedict Rochelle, and Dr. Kenneth Wapnick at Kenny's little studio apartment. And there's the birds. I hope you can't hear them too loudly. Little studio apartment on East 17th Street in New York City. I was at the time a doctoral student, university lecturer, and minister living inside of the General Theological Seminary on West 19th Street. And I walked over that evening. Ken's little studio was one of the most basic apartments I had ever seen. There were no electronics, no whatnot, just a typewriter, a few books, a pot for tea, a towel, a toothbrush, the bare essentials. Oh boy, wouldn't that be lovely just to, I think I might make a room like that with just the bare essentials, with basically nothing in it, and just have a space with nothing. Gosh, that sounds wonderful to have just a nobody. Helen sat on Ken's daybed and told me about the course, how it had come into existence, and how it had affected the four of them. Though I had explored several different philosophies, including a guru search and a backpacking trek through India in 1971, most everything left me wanting something more. Though impressed with my colleagues, I was concerned that I would again be left wanting. Still, I walked home that night thinking that probably the most important thing that had ever happened to me had just happened. I was, however, not at all sure what it was. Oh, just imagine. Well, hey, John's out. John is still among us, so we could actually probably have him on one day. Maybe he'll come and we could do a question and answer with him based on the book. And I think that this I would see if he could recollect more you know, the first time he had read it, this pamphlet. Anyway, it's just maybe a foreshadowing of what's to come. And back to the book. Later, Ken came to visit me in general theological, and I began sponsoring lectures by Ken in New York City, Westchester, and Orange counties in New York. I can hear my brain yelling, "You can't read this, you're not an American, you don't know these words, you don't know Westchester." Already, oh, it's so funny. The mind will just be reading something and look, it's already telling me, well, I know I can't pronounce things. Thank you very much for stating the obvious. That was very helpful, mind. All right. Well, I do know Orange County, New York. He has been throughout these many years a wonderful older brother. Helen, in turn, became something of a mother hen and a guide in times of trouble. I would meet with Helen at either Judy Whitson's or Ken Wapnick's apartment, and she was always available by phone. She knew, it seemed, how to quickly assess my situation and offer the right guidance. I was frequently in trouble in my relationships with women, and Helen was there to help me sort through my feelings. I was also ambiguous about my relationship with the Methodist Church. Well, I felt called to be a minister. I kept thinking maybe I should quit. Helen kept saying, not yet. You can always quit later. 16 years later, I did. I love that advice that Helen gives John. Not yet. You can always quit later. That's very helpful for me, I think, because I've been, I've just not been feeling well, and I've not been taking my meds because I decided I was gonna not take meds. But in doing so, I do not feel well. And so I'm just going to take this advice of maybe I shouldn't quit them yet. I'm not going to quit them yet. Maybe in 16 years, I will, but not yet. So that was helpful.
Very good advice, my dear. I agree completely. Take care of yourself. This body needs to be here, and this mind needs this body. So please do not neglect my friend.
Yes, I will. I'm going to behave myself today. And yeah, my husband will be glad to hear it because I know he does not like it. Probably has not liked the last few days. It's just not been very pleasant. So let's go on because I feel great in reading this. I'm glad I did not cancel. Thank you. I said to myself, well, I don't have to show myself. I'll go, and here I am showing myself too. But the voice and language of the course. In reading the course, it soon becomes clear that the voice of the course is not that of any ordinary individual. It is clearly not written by an ego. Pick it up, turn to any page and read. Let's do that. Just see what we pick up. Going to be chapter 13. Sit quietly and look upon the world you see and tell yourself, the real world is not like this. It has no buildings, and there are no streets where people walk alone and separate. There are no stores where people buy an endless list of things they do not need. It is not lit with artificial light, and night comes not upon it. There is no day that brightens and grows dim. There is no law. Nothing is there but shines and shines forever. Beautiful. And that was page 254 of the blue book. Just pick it up, read it, and what do we say? It's not about the past, the future, or worldly events. There is no act to grind. There is no agenda other than helping us achieve inner peace and therefore our own greatest happiness. The course is clear, truthful, and filled with compassion and understanding. Philosophy seeks the truth through argumentation. Though logically consistent throughout, there is no argumentation in the course. I never realized that. Oh my goodness, philosophy does seek truth through argumentation, and not meaning we're arguing, but it's just there needs to be that contrast side for philosophy to philosophize. Oh, it's beautiful. Realize that. But the logically consistent throughout, there is no argumentation in the course. And yet, the whole course can go through and not have an argument. There's no proofs for the existence of God. The course simply reminds us the truth of being. Just being, you're showing up whatever way it is, however it is, not judging. And even saying to myself, whoops, oh yeah, I haven't taken my medications, but I'm not going to judge that. I'm just going to use that as fuel for the next time that my insane brain decides to say, hey, Audrey, you don't need your sick medications you're on because I'm feeling that sick medications are too many for you to be on. So you should just stop taking them. And the next time it says that, I'm going to say, well, listen, I may be in this world right now, but I am not of this. I'm just going to do what I need to do to make it through. And I need some magic. And I've got to remind myself about it again. I know we're reading a book, but it's all about me too. There is
Audrey.
yeah.
All right. The body is like your car. And would you say, oh, I'm not going to put gas in my car now, or I'm not going to check the oil anymore. I'm just going to drive it till it falls apart.
I would not do that. And my father-in-law would just not be happy with me because he is always saying he'll take care of that. And you know what? I get it. I even said today, I'm not going to eat anymore. I said, I'm just not going to eat. Like, Lynn, the car won't go anywhere without the gas. It's very weak. It can't operate when you don't put fuel in it. Please, please eat. Please eat. We need to eat. I gotta get over this. This is just ridiculous. In 3 days, I've eaten maybe 2 crackers. Like, I am over it. As soon as we can conclude our reading today, I'm going to make myself a big bowl of oatmeal. Okay? I'm not doing this. I'm not gonna do this to myself.
Exactly. And it's the ego that tells you that you should. The ego says you can get by without eating. You don't need those meds. That's the ego telling you. Oh my
But
God.
it
Good.
sounded so convinced this time. It was
Tricky.
like, oh, this sounds like my guidance. Like it was really tricky until I took it, and then I just went, and I couldn't get out. I can't get out when I'm like that. My husband, may God bless him. So I'm
Well,
gonna finish this little chapter, maybe. Oh, maybe not. I do have I can go to the end of this section. I think I have 4 minutes.
good.
And then I'm gonna
Take your
feed
time,
my
honey.
body.
Yep. Then go feed yourself. Yep. Feed your heart, mind, and feed your body.
Yeah. In reading the course, oh wait. Yeah, the voice. And then there's no axe to grind. There's no proof for the existence of God. It is your voice at your best. The voice in the course also reminds us of the truth of being. The voice in the course is Jesus or the Holy Spirit or your voice at your best. It is yourself, myself, ourself, oneself, God or Christ. Oh, I love how this is written, because I've only ever read that it's the voice of Jesus, but that has all this stuff attached to it. But saying the voice in the course is Jesus or the Holy Spirit or your voice, capital your voice at your best. It is yourself, capital S self, myself, ourself, oneself, God or Christ. It came from one healed mind, which is all of us in our own right mind. It is your voice to which you listen as he speaks to you. That's from workbook lesson 125. And the course uses the phrase Son of God to refer to every child of God. While there are two possible genders, well, there's more than that now in the world. I have a trans child, and there's more expressions of genders, but scientifically, I guess, two genders in the world. In this world, there is literally no division. What is whole is not divided. What we are talking about is mankind as a whole, or better, spirit as a whole. If when you are reading a sentence like, I am as God created me, his son can suffer nothing, and I am his son. If it feels more comfortable saying daughter or child, change it to daughter or to child. The purpose of the course is to help us get in touch with the Christ self within. Words are but symbols of symbols. They are thus twice removed from reality. And that brings us to the tippy end of that section. So we can pause there and let Lynn get on with the next program. And I just thank you all for having me here and letting me speak the truth of what's happening, and to ixnay that ogo gay. And I love you, Lynn.
Love you too, Audrey. Thank you so much. And yes, remember, the Holy Spirit will never tell you to do anything that would hurt you. Never. So
Never,
take
ever.
good care of my friend. Thank you so much, Audrey. And we will see you later. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. I don't know.
Oh, for sure. I'll be in here all day.
All right.